he's dealing with a very difficult and complex issue, with a sparkle in his eye, he says, "I'm just a simple farm boy." And then he goes on to completely master the issue. Dave is far from simple. He's a man of true integrity. He's committed to treating everyone with fairness and class and style. Dave, you are a true professional, and you will be truly missed by everyone who works with you and who you serve in the building.
Thank you, Andrew.
I'd like to now call upon Peter Menkes to say a few words.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Well, David, here we are. At first, I'd like to acknowledge David's family, who is here tonight. His wife, Rosemary, his son, Mark, and wife, Tara. David's grandchildren, Saya and Matthew. Saya. His daughter, who I just met, Melanie, and husband, Rob Taylor. Actually, I met Melanie many years ago, but we've all, we've been together a long time, Dave and I. It was great to see Melanie again. Now, Dave has twin sisters. His twin sisters are here. So I'm sure they have some great stories they can share with us at some point. Anyway, Dave's sister Susan and her husband Terry, and Kathy and Dave. So we're glad to have all of you here to share this with David and really hear what he's been doing here all these years. There's so much that can be said about David. He has been an iconic figure running around this building for over 18 years. When I first met David, he was managing the Shepherd Center. I actually leased space from him in order to have a marketing center to promote this building while we were under construction. David was so well known and liked within the Shepherd Center that he's referred to as the mayor of the Shepherd Center. We thought so much of David that we hired him, not only to run this building, but to be the head of our commercial properties group. As you all know, David is a people person. He really loves everyone, and he created a great team within his group of people just like him, with honesty, integrity, great spirit, and smarts. Well, David, enough of the accolades. It's time to finally let you retire and sail into the great wide open to enjoy more time with your wife, children, family, and of course your grandchildren. David, it's been a pleasure working with you for over 18 years. And on behalf of the Menkes family, we want to wish you and your family lots of health and happiness for the years to come. Enjoy.
Hello everyone. Thank you for coming to celebrate this wonderful occasion. But to be honest with you, for selfish reasons, I've been dreading this day for months now. Where do I begin? How do I sum up the last 23 years in 2 minutes? I first met Dave back in 1982 at a job interview at the Shepherd Center. I was just out of high school and wanted to take a year off school before going to university. Dave hired me the next day, and little did I know then that it would be a journey that I would never forget. Dave, you've always been great to me and my family, and to your extended family here at Menkes and Procter & Gamble. Your dedication and loyalty to your staff and the Menkes family is not only inspiring, but extraordinary. Not to mention your devotion to your family and faith. I can't thank you enough for such a wonderful experience, for being a great boss, a mentor, a confidant, a father at times, but most of all a friend. You are one of a kind, and I will miss you dearly. God bless you.
I'd like to now call upon Dave's other extended family, Tim Penner, President of P&G Canada, Jane Lewis, Associate Director of Human Resources, and Richard Bowman, Human Resources Manager.
special occasion of Dave's retirement to publicly acknowledge that Procter & Gamble is not an easy tenant to deal with. It's true, and I know it. We have a rich culture as a company, and we hire very energetic people. And as a result of that combination, we give out samples in the lobby. We do demonstrations of our products all over the building. We tape things on every surface known to mankind. We put pins in everywhere, and frankly, that makes us, I think, a bit of a challenge. We also, as you can tell, we have an exorbitant budget for balloons. And we can very often be sort of like that impetuous teenager who knows exactly where the rules are, where the line is, and yet chooses to consistently step over the line just to see if by doing so they can move the line. So, as a result, that's who we are. And it's who we hire, and it's part of how our people make infeasible things feasible. They do it by at least bending the rules, at least trying anyway. And Dave has had to deal with that for the last 18 years in this building. And I would like to say just how absolutely professional he has consistently been in dealing with us. Because we are not easy to deal with. We impose our culture on those around us, on other tenants, on the neighboring community, and on sort of all of North York. We do what we can to, and it's not that it's just that we're quite enthusiastic about what it is that we do, and so as a result, we feel sort of compelled to share openly with others. And through it all, Dave has been unbelievably professional. He has been patient. He has been wise, and he has been immeasurably accommodating to us as a company, and that is not easy to do. So Dave, after 18 years of working with us, you clearly deserve retirement. And we want to say thank you to you for being a brilliant landlord and a wonderful friend to Procter & Gamble. We have a gift for you from P&G that we hope will remind you of us. We will never, ever forget you. Thank you. This is so you stay loyal.
Okay, my God. Like flash. You always hand them over.
Here, Dave.
Okay, David, Rosemary, Melanie, and Mark. You have to, and everybody here, you're going to have to bear with me through this speech. I've been fighting a cold for about the last 2.5 weeks, and I didn't want to take any cough medicine, but I've been kind of having coughing fits here and there. So this morning I said, if I'm going to speak, and I also had to give a presentation at another session this morning, so I said, if I got to speak, I've got to take my cough syrup. And the only thing that works for me is codeine. So this may be the most... So this may be the mellowest speech I ever give. And Tim, I know you pay me very well, but I've always said I wanted the balloon concessions. Okay, I've known David since 1991, and compared to a number of people here, that's probably a short time, but it is 14, 15 years that I've known David, and I've known David quite well for the good part of the first part of those 15 years. And as with every person that I respect, You know, David has had an impact on me, and as I said, with every person that I respect, I've also tried to learn something from him. And I'll talk about that in a second. Now, I came here in May of 1991 from the Procter & Gamble Hamilton plant. And I took over running of the P&G facilities team. And as such, I was the primary contact for David for the first 6 or 7 years that I was here. And we worked very closely together. And what did I learn from David? And actually the theme, I think, is going to be the same throughout this speech in terms of, well, there you are. What's her name? Sayan. Sayan. Hi, Sayan. So, when I think about what I learned from David, one of the first things that come to mind, and it's been referred to earlier, is the fact of, and I call it mastery. Some people call it expert. You know, he's an expert. I like to think of the term mastery because that's a little bit more of an elegant term to me. But he truly is looked upon as a master of his profession. The other thing I learned from David was reliability. You know, when David said he would do something, then you knew that that was going to get done. A couple of other things I learned from David was, you know, passion for his work, commitment to his work, commitment to his family, commitment to his faith. And so I saw that come out very strongly, and it was not somebody else used the term integrity. So all of those values, you know, I learned something from David and how you live those values. But two of the ones that I learned that were particularly important, and I think it's particularly important in every business, but I sense it's even more important in your business because a lot of things are done by word of mouth, is respect and trust. People trust David and people respect David. And I think that's you know, that's a accolade to you and the person you are. Now, I also learned a couple of things, and these are some personal observations. I learned a couple of things about David's life outside of work. I learned that we had a common interest, and that was sailing. Okay? David used to tell me about the fact that, you know, he had a father that tended to have ups and downs in his business life. And
Personal life too.
well, we won't go into that. But there was a time, one of these downs, he moved his family over to the Toronto Island, and actually Algonquin Island. And so then David started sailing and took part in the sailing school at Queen City Yacht Club. And so when I sailed to Queen City Yacht Club, I would actually take an opportunity to walk over and see the house that David grew up on and say, I knew one of the original islanders. Another thing I learned about David, and actually learned this term, was, and David used this term quite often, was the term of teaching an old dog new tricks.
Yeah, that was number 2 on my list.
I'm sorry, okay, that was number 2. And specifically where this played out for me was, I remember when I started working with David, he said, I'm not going to have anything to do with computers. I don't need computers, right? I don't need computers, I can get along fine with my job, I don't need that. And eventually it was Mark, I think, Mark's the computer expert in the family. And it was Mark who kind of got his father enrolled in that. And actually now he taught this old dog some new tricks eventually. So that was great too. And then the other thing I learned from David was that this is, I kind of hesitated because this wasn't a thing that I really learned, but it was a thing I learned about David. As we all know, David is not the most politically correct individual. Okay? But I learned how you can be politically incorrect in a lovable way, still with full integrity, and just love the way that worked. In fact, when David came up with some things that just came out of the blue, I know that Elena would sit there and she'd just break up, and all I could do was shake my head. In fact, we tried to find a letter. Where I think he was talking about window washing, and somehow the name of Kofi Annan came up in the letter. And it was a non-politically correct reference to Kofi Annan. Now, how the Secretary General of the UN ever appeared in a letter about window washing?
She actually made me take it to that.
Oh, then I just saw a draft.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, finally, I think hopefully I also was able to teach David some things. And I taught him a couple of things like wordsmithing. David loved that term, wordsmithing. And I think that he loved it because that kind of harkened back to his days on the farm. But the one thing I really think I taught David was the concept of indexing at 99. Okay? You got to understand, I came from the plant, and every year when we did our budgets, and I had to do a budget as a department manager, we were forced to index at 99. And what that meant was that every year's budget had to be 1% lower than the previous year's budget. So again, and it's similar to what Tim said. We come in, P&G comes in, and we think we know everything, and we're going to run the whole place, and we know how everything should be run, and we dictate our ways. So I came in, and I said to David, the first time we did a budget review, we have to index at 99. And if there was any source, and I'm sure the Menkes family would appreciate that, indexing at 99, but if there was any source of tension between the two of us, it was that. Now, David, in true professional form, went along with that. That was fine the first couple of years, and finally I said, okay, I'm going to get off this guy's back. And I allowed him to build in inflation, which he was just ecstatic about. So, finally, what I also learned about David was that the most important thing for him is his family, his friends, and his faith, which is as it should be. And so, David, my wish to you is that you have a happy and long retirement with the ones you love. Thank you, Richard, so much.
Okay, Dave, it's my turn.
Uh-oh.
No, I can only find nice things to say about you, and I think that's the same for all of us. Dave, I've chosen actually to give my little send-off in rhyme, and it's called Happy Retirement, Dave. As Dave leaves Menkes, it's time to stop and reflect, and to share the memories that in our mind collect. What do I think of when I hear Dave's name? I think of an individual of good guy fame. I think of a person who truly did care, and always checked that the solution was fair. I think of a colleague with a balanced view, who threw in a joke when it was just right to do. I think of a man who went out of his way to help his P&G friends and to make our day. I think of a leader with a do-it-right passion, for whom respect was always in fashion. Dave, thank you for everything you've contributed to P&G. You'll be missed by many folks, and certainly by me. Happy retirement, Dave. With as much fun as there can be, please know you're in our thoughts. Best wishes from all of us at P&G.
One characteristic about Dave that I didn't appreciate until his daughter-in-law reminded me tonight, that Dave loves to be the center of attention, especially when before everyone's spread through the room. So I'd like to now call upon Dave and his wife Rosemary to come up for some presentation of a few gifts.
They're for me, Elio.
All right, so we have quite a few gifts, and and some fun things we've thrown in here for David. And as I said in my speech, he gets to sail into the great wide open. So on behalf of us in Menkes, we have want to present a certificate to David. It is it's a trip to Alaska with Rosemary. So we have a few props we'd like to anecdotal things we'd like to present to David.
So as most of you know who live in the building, David takes his cladding very seriously, and he spends a lot of time washing it over the years. So we have it can be used both for cladding as well as a frisbee off the deck.
John and Dave Wabi, I'll give the cladding to you to keep, remember, okay? Maintain it.
Okay, we also wanted to give you a sample of the roof membrane, aka golf mat.
And once you're being decadent out there on the boat with your golf mat, we thought we should give you a sleeve of golf balls to hit into the ocean.
Yes, absolutely.
Back at the last cycle, we thought about getting a Menkes plane, so now we have a little plane for you to take part in.
And Peter and Andrew thought by the end of your cruise, you'd be the captain.
And when they eventually would send you off telling you that you're not the captain, they would give you this memento of the boat.
So the staff at Menkes all care about you so much, Dave, and they contributed towards the luggage that you and Rosemary can use on your trip off to Alaska.
And for those cool nights on your cruise, Menkes windbreaker.
Good. That's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
And when you are not up on the bridge running the ship, you can be out there still promoting the Menkes name with this guy.
Special edition. That's great.
And you can't take your hat off. Oh, you're going to put on your new hat, okay. So, and here are your Menkes sunglasses to go with your hat.
Oh.
And for those really cold nights, your Menkes sweatshirt.
Well, it could be up in the Alaska. Oh, that's so wonderful.
And I see a bunch of gifts over there, but there was one that Terry Faria, I think, had as part of his gift to you that I'm going to take because it's such a classic. It's a picture of you. You probably can't see it at the back there, but it's a picture of Dave Bennett back in, I think, the 87. And it's got to be Tony Orlando. So maybe Tony will be on the ship as well. But nice picture of you and Terry.
And Rosemary, we'd also like to make this presentation to you. Taking such good care of David over the years and allowing us to have so many great years with him and enjoy your time together, and it's been a pleasure. All right, David. I think we're all talked out. I think it's up to you now.
Now, am I limited to the 3 minutes? You know, I can hardly believe I'm so overwhelmed. All of you been such a pleasure for the last 18 and a half years. And as I keep saying to Peter, I got to be careful that you don't think I'm patronizing you, but it's come from my heart. I love working for Menkes. I love working for Procter with Procter & Gamble. That is not stretching it at all. I just love it. And like I said to Peter, I've just had fun. It's been fun. 18 and a half years of fun. And I'm so blessed. And then the tributes, just the fact that you're here, is so important to me. And every face I look across there and think of the years that we were associates, and my family, and my family is number one to me. And that includes my two sisters and my two brothers-in-law. And that's what I liked about the Menkes, because they're a family. And I always considered I was part of the family. And I hoped that I'd fulfill what they asked me to do, and that's to keep their tenants happy. That's the first thing that Alan said to me second day. He said, David, if you keep our tenants happy, we'll do what we want you to do. And I hope I've done it. What a mandate to be given a property manager. And it was just wonderful to work this way. But it's not all about me. It's about my faith in the God of the Bible. My love for and from my precious family, and extended family, Sue and Terry, Kat and Dave, my co-workers. I'm going to get a little bit specific on them in a minute or two. Our tenants. I love my tenants. I just love my tenants. And the wonderful part is, Menkes is a tenant's landlord. There's lots of landlords around, but Menkes is a tenant's landlord. And that's just what I am. I love my tenants. It just means everything to me. And all my co-workers, my tenants, my friends, you've all sustained me in my daily life and career. Without your contributions, and you all, every one of this room has contributed something for me. I'd be nothing. The Menkes family who gave me the opportunity to pursue my career in the workplace with freedom and trust. They have a great philosophy, this family, that once they know you know what you're doing, and hopefully I knew what I was doing, they leave you alone. They leave you alone. It's amazing. We all can attest to that. And it is so wonderful to be treated that way, that they trust you. And my primary contacts was Peter and Andrew. Primarily, I don't mean that I didn't speak to Stephen or Alan or Menkes, but they were my primary contacts. And they were just so understanding. Did we ever have radio to speak? I don't even remember having to speak. And little Ellen over there. Ellen, what a great speech. I mean, you were concerned. It was great. Thank you so much. It's not what you said. I don't mean that. I just mean you're just great. And you are my bridge over troubled waters. For 23 years, this young lady has supported me. She's hidden my faults. Of course, there's very few of those. She's championed my great decisions, a couple of them. And we just work together like a team. And she has such a wonderful husband and two boys that understand. And we're like brother and sister, although I'm a much older brother. But it's just, it's just like that. And my family supported me at home. I don't have any worry. There's harmony in my family at home. I didn't have to worry when I came into work if there's any problems. And I'm just so thankful for that. You met my kids. I was going to name off my kids and my grandkids, but you all met them, so I won't do that. And I just know that I so appreciate you all. But just get back to Elena. She has been a wonderful counsel to me because she told me when I was wrong. I alluded to that a minute ago, but she said, not be good for that. And she didn't mind. Right from the beginning, she was 18 years old when I hired her. And, oh, sorry. Is John Bowman's here? John, I just have to say, John, the 2 years that you and I was in a sense reporting to John because of the transition. And it was hard on me, okay? It was a little bit hard on me. I'm a little bit proud. Very little, but I'm a little proud. And John made it so easy. He was so gentle. He's such a gentleman. And we're of the same faith. And it was an honor to work with you, John. We're so glad to hear the good news. That's the big part of it. Actually, my sister Susan worked with John. She was the office manager, and John was the building manager over at Cameron for a number of years. And my daughter Melanie worked for Dave He's worked there for about 2 months before he knew who she was. And then Randall Linton came in and told him, Randall, you here? Yeah, that's so funny. Dave phoned me up, he says, did you know your daughter's working for Miss? Yeah. Why didn't you tell me? I said, well, what's there to tell? Anyway, Dennis Nelson. Dennis and I have worked together since 1972. I hired Dennis for 335 Bay Street, and a more gentle man, full of integrity. He's forgotten more about mechanical systems than I'll ever know. Why did you forget it, Dennis? But it's true. I mean, he was strong where I was extremely weak. I'd go to him and just say, Dennis, help me out with this, will you? He's a friend. He's a friend. Terry Faria, my little Portuguese friend. Terry and I have worked together since 1977 without only a month, I guess, before you followed me from the Shepherd Center, I pulled you over. And Terry, his reputation speaks for itself. He ran 40 Holly Street, which we've sold now. It's one of our favorite little buildings. And Terry had to go with the building because he's attached the building with an umbilical cord. So he went with the building. He works for GWL, wonderful company. If you can't work for Menkes, then GWL's okay. So it's wonderful. Now Terry, you're just a special friend. Cindy and I have a story. Cindy here? Cindy was the property manager for 40 Holly. And she'd go down there, and she'd come back, and I said, how are things going? I don't know. Nobody talks to me. He says, they just talk to Terry. And I go down, well, who are you? I give off my title, big shot. Yeah. Terry. I mean, it's his building. In fact, I don't even think if Mr. Menkes went down that they would acknowledge him. You know, it's Terry.
He's the boss.
Yeah. Terry, thank you. Thank you for your loyalty. It's so appreciated. Cindy Woislaw. Cindy Woislaw is property manager of the 5,000 Younger site. I've known Cindy since '78 when you were with CIL, right? When we were comparing notes with suppliers. And...
We won't say how old I was then.
Oh no, just a child. Yeah. Actually, let me tell you something quick about Terry. When I met him, he was only 15. I wasn't even supposed to hire him. He told me he was 16, so hey, 2 weeks later you said I was 16, so what the heck. Cindy Woislaw, you know what impresses me with Cindy? Yeah, she's a good property manager, that's not an issue. About 12 years ago, her mother had a very serious car accident. 12, Cindy?
10.
10. And she was left quadriplegic. Cindy is, or was, and is the primary caretaker of her mom, really. Even though she's up in Collingwood now, I know she doesn't spend as much time with her as she did, but she carried on her professional side of her life and cared for her mom. That means more to me than anything you can do. And I don't really know her mom, but we know her mom's family. And I'm just, thanks, Cindy, for being the kind of person here to do that and supporting me in the way you've always done. Okay, what I'm going to do is take the 4711 Yonge Street operations team, okay? Some aren't even with us anymore. A couple of them aren't even with us anymore. But that's, well, actually, John Shaw's still with us, but he has nothing to do with it. But so I'm going to group them together because it's P&G, it's 4711 Yonge Street was our flagship building. And this staff, under John Shaw melded them together. There's John Shaw, Manny Turingan, Keith Willett, Kevin Wright, David Campbell, and Chris Lapis. Where's Chris? Chris.
He's cleaning the bathroom.
You know how much I appreciate Chris.
We do too.
So do we. And he's, the thing about Chris is, he knows Greek, and he knows the New Testament, and he would interpret things. I said, Chris, this doesn't make sense to me. What's the original Greek say? And you're probably going to get a lot more work out of him now because every day I keep him there about a half an hour in my office talking about Greek. You know, he's just a wonderful guy. You all know he is. That lobby, I don't know whether you know this, but people come into the lobby and say, who looks after your floor? Not so much to me, the security. Because that floor is, to my mind, is as beautiful a floor as you can find in the city. I love granite, but it's hard to maintain. Guess who maintains it? Chris. And he does a wonderful Keith, Kevin, Dave, Chris, Peter Farrell, Marlena. Is Nuala here? No, Nuala's not here. You remember Nuala? She was the little day matron.
Yeah.
Marlena was is our day matron, and she's our night supervisor, cleaning supervisor. And all of these people make me look good, but I have nothing to do with it. They're there, they're doing their job. Leave them alone. I'm so thankful. So thankful. And this building is something to be proud of. And it's maintained because of these people. John Shaw is a property manager in the West End. Keith Millett is now with the University of Toronto as a fire prevention officer. I couldn't pay him enough money, so. No, it was just that he was at the end of his term here. He just, oh boy. Security staff. I have to mention Pamela. Where's Pamela? Pamela, you know what they speak of a house as curb appeal? We have two curb appeals. Chris's floor and Pamela. You wouldn't believe how many comments. People come up and say, "You're security." That young lady at the front of the satellite desk. Oh, she is so nice. So obliging. That's right. That's right. Makes me look good. I have nothing to do with it. Thank you, Pamela. Thank you, Pamela. Tim, Thomas, John, James, Kevin. These are security guards down there. We're all so proud of you. Ontario Guard. I saw Warren here and called him wrong somebody else tonight, but that's okay. He knows that. He knows I'm under stress.
Must have called him Paul.
Yeah. No, I didn't call him Paul. No, I didn't call him. The cafeteria staff, I guess they're not here. But Al,
Some of them are.
okay, Al, Katrina, and Maria. They're so precious. I just love them. I just love them. They're so. The Procter & Gamble people, the facilities people who used to be Procter & Gamble, now just another acronym you could add to Procter & Gamble is JLL. And if you don't know, P&G is an acronym for everything. Okay? There's a book, a Bible, listing acronyms with the anyway. Jones Lang Lascelles, so they work for him. I'm going to try, Peter Farrell, did I mention Peter Farrell? Peter, loyal employee. Excuse me, guys, I'm sorry. Well, first Richard Holman. Richard Holman and I worked, I thought it was 10 years. It seemed like 10 years, Richard, but it's only 8. He and I used to banter back and forth. Everything he said about the budget, the first time he hit with us, 99, I said, utilities alone, Rich, you can't do that. We did it. We did it. Didn't like doing it, but I did it. And finally he eased off and quit being him. Thank you so much, Richard. It was a wonderful relationship. Just a wonderful relationship. And Tim Penner, Jane Lewis, for people that are so senior management, executive management, they're as down to earth as anybody in this room. I so appreciate that. I was reminding Tim tonight that my son and my daughter-in-law were in one day. And Tim is in a workstation, actually, system furniture. And I said, come on, guys, I don't think Tim will mind. I really don't. I got thinking about it after I shouldn't have done it. And I walked in. Tim was so gracious. He welcomed them. And Jane wasn't there. I was going to introduce him to Jane. And, you know, where can you do that with the president of one of the largest corporations in the world? Mr. Menkes is the same. You just walk in his office. Just, you know, it's wonderful. It's meant a lot to me. Meant a lot to me. Robert Mitchell, I think, isn't here tonight. Eric Glass isn't here. Bob Anderson is in the past, but these are all men that I worked with. Elizabeth Woodland, we're having lunch, eh, Liz? We're not keeping that a secret, okay? Wim Craig's not here tonight. Brenda. I always like to see what Brenda's wearing. She is so great. I mean, she's so great. It's just a joy to see her. Jason Conley, who's not here tonight, I don't think. I'm not sure. Debbie Pizzilli. Now, Debbie's the one that wields the big stick. She's tiny, but she wields a big stick, I'll tell you. She's with JLL now, but she was with Procter & Gamble. We appreciate you, Debbie. I just like the joke, and you know that. And Ron, John Louise, Ron Moody. them up, yeah, okay. Kathy Hurd, I think I saw Kathy, I didn't say hello. Kathy Hurd. Paul Young, one of our fire wardens. And while I'm talking about fire wardens, I don't know how many are here tonight. Thank you. It's a thankless job. No glory in it, but I'll tell you, it's so needed. And I just appreciate it. Thank you so much. Paul's been one right from the very beginning. And come up here. The Menkes staff. Okay, just let me say something about Brian Zong, Eddie, John, down the shipping there. What a great relationship. And Lydia Jacobs Horton. I dealt with her on the phone for 5 years and never met her. And the first time I met her, you'd think we'd known each other forever. What a lovely lady, professional lady. Will Esterly, and now I think it's Ann, is that correct? I just met Ann once.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Just met her once. The Menkes staff, now, I won't name them all, I just can't. I'm sort of a counting challenge, and so Jim Leon and Leslie Budasing were my support. Leslie would cover up for me. He'd make it sound like it was his mistake, and it was my mistake. I just needed all the help I could get. Thank you, Leslie, Jim. I could go, all of you people in accounting, the payables, I mean, little Nanny, she cuts up a bowl of fruit for me every day. Up a bowl of fruit every day for me. Tanya, Rebecca, Valentina, Marcella, Courtney, Rosa, and I never forget Stan Lindsay. His son Chris is still with us. I think Chris might even be here tonight. Stan Lindsay, what a gentleman. He was the project manager, I guess would be his title of this building, would be. Oh, what a gentleman. I just love Stan. There's nothing wrong with Joe Francavella either. He's a wonderful man. Anyway, Guy, Gary, Ben, I can go on and on and on. Please understand that you all mean so much to me. You're my support. It's not about me, it's about you guys. I so appreciate it, so appreciate it. I'm going to take a quick run of the other tenants. The Hydrock group. I know Rob and Heather are here. I just love Rob and Heather. They're such good sports. I joke with them all the time. I'm sarcastic with them. And where are you guys? You guys here?
Over there, Dave.
Okay. If you want to really see when I had egg on my face, okay? I kidded them about smoking, and they usually go out the side entrance to smoke, just where the bank used to be there. And I said, you're smoking again, this, da-da-da-da-da. So one day I went out to lunch with Jim Maxwell. Jim Maxwell from Deposit Insurance. We went up to the keg, and we're walking down the street. Jim said, you want a cigar? Because he knew I'd like a cigar once in a while. He smoked little ports, old ports. I said, yeah, I'd love one. So walking along, I get about 100 feet from the north entrance. Who's standing there? Rob and Heather. They look like this. I said, okay, guys. I've never done it before in my life. And they're such good sports. Greg, thank you for coming. Wonderful. Steve Goodall and Lynn McCharles from Osage. There. Okay. We'll forgive them for that. I mean, the most important half stayed, Lynn, okay? You tell them that. I so appreciate them. I'm the kind of guy that you're supposed to get 48 hours notice before you go on a tenant. I just walk in and Steve's on the phone, a conference call. Hi, Steve, how you doing? I'm just here to see Lynn. I don't care about you, So that's the relationship we have. And I told him that, and I said, Dave, I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss it. It's true. I just love it. Harvey and Lynn Kagan. I don't think either one of them were able to come tonight. Jerry Prenick and his wife, good. Jerry Prenick and his wife have donated 5 trees to an arboretum in Israel in my name. I was going to say in my memory. Jerry, thank you so much. Maurice and Mark Boyman, either one of them here. Maurice and Mark Boyman and Jerry Prenick followed me from the Shepherd Center. I tried to keep them out, but no, Jerry got in with the sublet, so there's nothing I can do about that. Maurice Boyman and Mark, well, just the least. But anyway, just kidding. I just love them. There's so much wonderful time with having them. And the deposit insurance team, Jim Maxwell, Sharon, Randy, Kim in the Metro group. I think Kim had to leave. What a lovely lady. She's just a lovely lady. And Hope Air. Judy Lamb and Ann are here tonight, and they were my primary contacts at Hope Air. So with the rest of you know, Hope Air is a patron of Procter & Gamble. This is why I so respect P&G. This is a wonderful organization. They give them free space. Hope Air provides flights free of charge anywhere in North America for health problems. They're such a lovely company, a lovely group to work with. Judy Lamb is no longer with them, but Ann is. And I want to tell you, I just think you're wonderful what you guys do. And the Miskin group, Mr. and Mrs. Miskin, Ancor. Jeffrey Royer, I don't think he's here tonight. Oh, he is? Great. That's great. I thought you were going to be away. You canceled everything. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming, Jeffrey. What a lovely staff he has. He's just a joy to deal with. Bright Spark, Watson Jacobs, these are new tenants. I don't know them that well, but if you're in this building, you've got to be a good tenant. Direct Energy Group, I really don't deal a lot with them, but lovely tenants. Perlita, Druxy's, Jill downstairs. I'll just say one thing. Wendy Booth is doing the leasing here now. Before Wendy came, we always sort of tried to filter out who we would allow in the building as a tenant. I'm not kidding. We looked at it and said, would that fit into the culture? Because it's a different culture. It's as Tim said, it's a different culture. And it worked. Well, Wendy, bless her heart, she's a real hotshot leasing person. She'd always come to me in the deals that she's done, say, Dave, what do you think? What do you think? And I so appreciate that because this culture, this building is special. And all of you contribute to it. And I can't tell you how much I appreciated what she said because I was worried that, gee, what's going to happen? Tenants from the other works projects, the other Menkes projects, too numerous to mention, but the relationship. I'm a tenant. I love my tenants. I really love my tenants, like Wendy does, like Peter does. That's just the way it's part of our DNA. Okay, we're getting down the short street. Our suppliers, consultants, contractors, brokers, trades, peers. You know how often you have pulled me out of a jam because I pulled up a contractor, Doug DeBoer. Now, Doug, when he says he sold his company, he's a little harder to get to right now. But Doug was there cleaning up the snow, blow up the leaves, whatever it is, he's always there. John Wabachewicz. I want to mention two of the patriarchs of this group here today. Okay, of the suppliers, patriarchs of the whole group. You're even older than me. John Wabi owns the classic building maintenance, which does the cladding, the windows. He's a young guy. He's in his 70s. Wilf Yappy. I've known Wilf Yappy he's with Choicey now. He used to be with Toronto Industrial Chemical or Acme Chemical. Acme. Toronto. Okay, that's right. You've been all over, haven't you? They just keep moving you on, Will. You won't quit. Will is 80. Will be 85. He works 3 days a week. What a wonderful guy. What a wonderful guy. The brokers we deal with. The Cowies. I don't think there's any Cowies here. Oh, Scott! Oh, no! The London Life salesman. That's right. That's great. And Cashville. What's the new one? Cushman Wakefield. Now, can't believe it. We love you. Bless your heart. You're so caring. You're caring what you do. Yeah, you make a buck, but you're caring. And actually, Mark Cowie, was it Mark or Mike, Jeffrey, that brought you in?
Yeah,
Mike. Cowie. What a favor. I mean, what a favor. These guys do it. And Wendy has such a good rapport with them. And I'm just so grateful for all of you. The contractors, what can I say? Jim and Nancy Gallows, Randall Linton, Brian Newton, Jerry Morneau. Jerry pastored our church now. And so I have to be very careful when dealing with him because, you know, if anything ever went wrong, I could be read out of the meeting. But anyway, where are you, Jerry? You still here? Yeah, okay. Jerry Warren is energy efficient lady. Mary Ann Pappas. Mary Ann Pappas. Thank you for coming. Mary Ann was with DeBoer, and then DeBoer sold, and Mary Ann was gone, but she and I still keep in touch. And Linda Dawkins, I don't think she's here tonight, but Linda Carrier, Dora Shaw. Dora Shaw? Okay. Stephanie and Otis. Okay. Gee, I feel burned. Brian Bennett. Brian Bennett, not here, no. Okay. Oh, there he is! I know, Brian. Good work. I didn't see it. Bob Carl, my old wayward friend Bob Cottle. What a great guy. He's just wonderful. Thanks, Bob, for your efforts. And Jim Campbell.
I think he left.
Oh, no. Okay.
Babysit. Yeah.
That's right. My PE Islander. He's great. Dan Langley. Honeywell. And Gil. Where's Gil? I saw Gil here tonight. Oh, hey, Gil. Thank you. Is there any I missed?
John.
John Kriegel. Is John here?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. John, now you're a Cushman.
I came out of respect for you, but I really did.
I did, John.
Congratulations.
You're a Cushman now, too, eh?
No,
Oh, no, you're Collier. That's right. See, John, we haven't seen enough of you, you know. You haven't got any deals in lately, you know? Anyway, thank you for your sustaining me, for your undergirding me. It's a great word. It's a nautical word. Holy, unholy together. That's what you've done for me. And I just so thank you all. I can never tell you how much I appreciate you. Employer, our tenants, and each one of you. And I'm going to be very politically incorrect again. I wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah. And God bless you, each and every one.
Oh,